And when all the protests have been voiced by indignant taxpayers, and all the apologies offered by timid city officials, one fact will stand unchallenged. In this world, you get what you're willing to pay for. The new property tax rate is the highest for any city in a three-state area without question. But our schools, hospitals, police, and fire departments are unquestionably the best also. This reporter is wholeheartedly for the new tax rate, and so are the people I work for.
Now they know where we stand, Madam President.
You've been on the inside again with Frank Prescott.
Well, this does it, George. This is it. Hello, Miss Horton.
Jim?
Either I'm Frank Prescott's assistant or I'm not. Either I'm supposed to help him put on that show or I'm not.
You are, Jim. You're his assistant and you put on the show. Now, what is it? Get on with it. What's the trouble?
Well, he told me to line up a couple of guests for Thursday and Friday night. Use my own judgment.
Yeah.
So I got them all set. Then he cancels them out just like that. And he won't even tell me why. Now, maybe you know.
First I've heard of it. You, Jan?
Not a word. I don't see why you're so upset, Jim.
I want to know where I stand. Now, if Frank has lost confidence in me, or if you and George have...
Well, you know if we had. And Frank isn't bashful either. If your work weren't satisfactory, he...
Frank's not letting me do any. I think he's trying to ease me out.
You better check that with the source. It is my show, you know.
From start to finish. If you get an idea, it's great. If I do, forget it.
That's not so, Jim.
What about my research on Killed in Action? You said you liked it. I thought I was onto something big. You took it over, then you threw it right out the window.
I said it had possibilities. I didn't say we'd do it.
Look, Jim, we went all over that on Monday.
You discussed it?
Well, now I really am sore.
Now it's disloyalty or something if I even want to talk about an idea. It was mine, remember?
We'll talk about it later.
Later, you kept me from digging into something big. Now, what was it?
Forget it.
Maybe I'm just stupid or something. Or maybe the great crusader, Frank Prescott's been reached. Who's paying off?
That's enough, Jim. I mean it.
Hey, take it easy, you guys. We've all been together a long time.
That's just the trouble.
Well...
Oh, he'll get over it. I take it you didn't go along with Jim's idea either.
Well, I hardly looked at it, Frank. That's your department.
Yeah. Well, I'm off. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Frank. Take it easy.
Come on, Frank. I don't like this, George.
It's all right, honey. They're just letting off steam. Besides, I'd rather talk about where you'd like to go on our honeymoon.
Never fails. You're ready to leave the office, anxious to call it a day, and the phone rings. It's a temptation not to answer. But how many people can just let a phone ring? I can't. It probably isn't, but it might be important. It was. Frank Prescott, the TV commentator, had been killed. His assistant, Jim Keller, was under arrest. and their boss, a client of mine, Janice Horton, wanted legal advice in person, in a hurry. I'll be right over.
What do you think, Herb? Okay?
I'm not too sure about one part of this release. Every confidence, justice, etc. Here. Mr. Prescott's program Inside Report will be continued by Mr. Alan Larson, the distinguished correspondent. You can't do that, George. There's a clause in Kelly's contract.
Sure, Keller was supposed to get the job if and when Prescott retired or became incapacitated. But it still doesn't figure. A contract's no license to kill.
Certainly not if he's guilty.
There's no question. They've got all the evidence.
He hasn't been indicted yet, let alone tried and convicted.
Herb, this is no traffic ticket. That guy killed Prescott.
I'm sorry, but you can't legally hire anyone else on a permanent basis until and unless Keller becomes permanently unavailable for the job.
That might take months.
Well, that is a hardship you're going to have to learn to endure.
Slow down. We want to do what's right, even if we could break the contract.
Which you can't.
I suppose if you'd been handling our legal business when that contract was drawn up, we wouldn't be having this trouble now. Look, Herb, let's make a settlement. We can buy him out, can't we?
We can, but I don't think it's fair under the circumstances.
Make it fair, Herb. We'll okay any deal you offer him.
Herb, this is one time you're going to get yourself burned. This character doesn't need a lawyer, he needs a magician.
Why? What have you got?
So much is pathetic. He's been having a running argument with Prescott for weeks. Witnesses the whole thing.
Yeah?
Item number 2, there's a clause in his contract that states if Prescott becomes ill, retires, resigns, or dies, and Keller takes over.
No witnesses to the actual crime, I suppose.
He wasn't seen wiring the car, no.
But you've got something just as good, I'm sure.
Yes, I do. During the war, James Keller received a citation for outstanding achievement in his specialty. Demolition. A bomb expert, no less. Now, Counselor, wouldn't you call that a case?
I'd call it the district attorney's case, yes.
Yes, and that's the way it's going to wind up. So, Herb, why don't you do yourself a favor and just turn around and go home? No, this is really a lost cause.
I'm just here to see that the man signs some papers.
Oh, sure, Herb, and you wouldn't even consider defending him, right?
That's right, I'm not considering it. I've got a proposition for him, and that's all. The station wants to buy out his contract.
Herb, you wouldn't kid an officer of the law, would you?
I'll bet you a new hat I don't defend Keller.
Listen, Herb, I don't need a new hat. But that's a bet. Keller, this is Mr. Maris, an attorney who's representing the station.
Miss Horton wanted me to see you. Thanks, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
He's actually dead. I was talking to him, and then a few minutes later...
And here you are.
Oh, that'll be straightened out. Right now, all I know is he's dead. I just can't believe it.
The way I heard it, you boys argued quite a bit. Sit down, won't you?
Well, now, you don't work with a man for 6 years if you argue all the time. It was just the last few weeks about an idea that I'd had called Killed in Action. He simply decided not to buy it, that's all.
Everybody strikes out once in a while.
But I didn't. Believe me, I know this is a hot story. Frank thought so himself at first. It started out to deal with how the city authorities practically ignore the families of men killed in the line of duty. And then I felt there was something even bigger.
Why'd you take it away from him?
Well, that's what we argued about. He simply wouldn't tell me.
Did he think you were after his job? You know, your contract.
You're kidding. No, Frank put that clause in there as a private joke because he knew I couldn't take over.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, Mr. Maris, I'm one of those people who freezes completely in front of a mic. Now, there's a Kinney of me on the air in Pittsburgh where we used to work. Frank missed the first 3 minutes of the show one night, and they shoved me out on the floor. You know what's on that film?
No, what?
3 minutes of me standing there with egg on my face. I couldn't utter a sound. And after, Frank said, well, at last I found one man who doesn't want my job. You know I'm innocent, don't you?
Yes, I know. Weston said you needed a magician, but if you'll settle for a lawyer...
Thanks, Mr. Maris.
Okay, sit down. We got a lot of work to do. What are you glowering about? your new hat. Look, it's even got a feather in it.
Listen, Herb, I'd just as soon lost the bet. What are you looking for in this killed in action stuff, anyway?
These are the cases that Keller gave Prescott. 5 city employees killed in line of duty. Prescott must have found something here that started him off. I'm looking for that something.
Accidental deaths are investigated, too,
The Thomas Randall death looks a little suspicious.
Why? He was killed inspecting a job. A beam fell on him.
A job he was about to condemn.
That was only a rumor. The chief inspector threw that out when he checked the job personally. What's his name? You know.
Ed Erickson. I checked on him. I'm going to ask him about it. If I can, nobody's allowed to visit him without the doctor's permission.
It's your time, Counselor. We question Erickson pretty thoroughly.
Well, since I am going to defend Keller, and you don't want the station involved, I guess we'd better terminate our agreement.
I think you're leaning over backwards, Herb.
Anyway, all you got is a guess that Prescott dug into Keller's material and came up with murder by parties unknown to shut up a building inspector by the name of Randall. I'm going to check it out with Randall's old boss if I can this afternoon.
Yeah, well, however that turns out, why break with us now? Let's continue as we are. You keep us informed. Then if it gets to be a genuine conflict of interest, that's time enough to break.
Well, I can't ask for more than that. Janice, how does it strike you?
Do I look like a woman about to start a quarrel?
George? Goodbye, Herb. Bye, Janice.
Goodbye, Herb.
Thanks for this.
I'm sorry, Mr. Maris. You can't see Mr. Erickson. The man actually belongs in a hospital.
I'm sorry, too, Doctor, but I have reason to believe he was in contact with Frank Prescott, the man who was just...
Now you surely can't see him. He's still upset about Prescott's death.
Then they were in touch.
Prescott asked me himself if Erickson was strong enough to appear on his show. Now, that's all I know about it.
Doctor, Mr. Erickson might be able to save my client's life.
My first responsibility is to my patient.
As a lawyer, I know how to question a man without upsetting him.
But as a doctor, I know how dangerous...
Doctor, my client is a young and healthy man. Without your help, he might die before Erickson.
You win, Mr. Maris.
Doctor, thank you. Edward P. Erickson, one-time chief building inspector, was dead. And with him went the information I'd been counting on to clear Jim Keller. The medical examiner's report estimated time of death to be within 2 hours, which meant I'd been only minutes too late.
This stuff. And did you get a load of that lobby, Herb? It looks more like a palace.
Yeah. For a civil service employee with a small pension, Erickson certainly lived well.
Too well. It looks like a payoff to me.
This really hurts. Just when he was getting ready to talk.
How do you know?
Erickson was a sick man with something on his conscience he wanted to spill on TV.
Who says?
His doctor. Prescott asked him if Erickson was well enough to appear in his show.
So Prescott was working on Keller's material.
Right. There's no doubt in my mind but that Prescott and Erickson were both killed by the same person.
Because they both knew that person killed Randall, the building inspector. Now we're getting someplace, Herb.
Yeah, but until we tie up Erickson's death with Prescott's, we haven't helped Keller. The DA is going to have to treat both of them as separate killings. At least he was in jail when Erickson was killed. That helps some.
Yeah, look at this.
What?
It's a bill from the florist at the Cedar Knoll Cemetery. To Edward P. Erickson, annual commemoration for T.W. Randall. Amount due $15, representing your 50% cost of wreath.
I wonder who the florist billed for the other half.
But I'm in the clear. I was sitting right here when Erickson was killed. Now, why doesn't this clear me?
Because, first of all, you aren't charged with Erickson's murder.
Sure, but since the same person also killed Frank...
That's just a theory until we get proof. find out anything, Lieutenant?
Yes, it happens every year. They put a wreath on Randall's grave, paid for by Erickson and a man named Fergus Hawley.
Any idea why?
Well, maybe because Randall was inspecting one of Hawley's construction jobs when he was killed. He owns the Mohican Construction Company. I did a little research on him, too. But all I got was he's the outfit's sole owner of record.
Just a minute, Keller. There's nothing special about that, is there?
Well, only that Mohican's a big firm, and Hawley didn't strike me as big enough to run it alone.
What do you say, Lieutenant? How about a talk with Hawley?
That's our next stop, Counselor.
What can I do for you, gentlemen? My name's Hawley. One of the boys said you wanted to see me.
How do you do? I'm Lieutenant Weston. This is Herb Maris, an attorney.
Mr. Hawley?
We have some questions we'd like answered.
Well, go ahead.
Supervising a job this size must keep you mighty busy.
Well, I'm right here. From 7 in the morning till 7 at night.
Every minute?
Yes, why?
Is there anybody here on the job that can testify that you haven't left it any time today?
Well, sure. Ask any of the men.
All this equipment you use, do you own it or rent it?
Well, I own most of it.
It must have cost a fortune.
Well, nobody finances all of his business needs himself these days.
Bank loans, I suppose.
Or private individuals. Look, if there's something you want to know.
Yes, Mr. Hawley, there is something we want to know. Why do you buy a wreath for Tom Randall's grave every year?
What? Well, he was inspecting one of my buildings when he had his accident. Well, this friend of mine thought that it would
Hey,
be...
Derek.
That's right.
Rather unusual, isn't it? A construction man being a friend of a chief building inspector and sharing the cost of a wreath with him?
Well, he thought it would be a nice idea. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Well, no reason at all, only from now on you'll probably want to buy another wreath every year. Ed Erickson was murdered today.
Was he killed because he knew something about Randall's, quote, accident? Who put up the money for the job that Randall was inspecting? Was it Erickson? Then who?
It's so long ago, I don't remember.
You have records, we'll subpoena them.
Well, Lieutenant, you can have the records, but it'll take 2 or 3 days to get the back file.
You get them tomorrow. I'll be back today, Mr. Hawley.
Hello?
Herb? Weston. Listen, I had a tail on Hawley all day, and you were right. He headed straight for home base, and guess where it turned out to be? The TV station. He went up to Janice Horton, stayed for 5 minutes, then he left. I'm having him brought in for questioning.
What about Janice?
Oh, I'm sending someone over for her. I want to talk to her partner, Stoddard, myself, in his apartment. If she's tied up with Hawley, then Stoddard's bound to know something about it. I'll see you in court, Counselor.
Now, wait. I'm still Janice's attorney. Let me bring her in. We don't know the whole story on this yet.
Wait a minute, Herb. We're wasting time. I can't take any chances now.
I'll bring her in, I promise. She's more apt to cooperate if I talk to her first.
Okay, but watch it, huh?
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Maris. I'm sorry Miss Horton just left.
Did she say where she was going?
Well, I don't think I'm supposed to get
Sally,
over.
this is urgent. I know she's on 24-hour call here.
Someplace in Bellwood. A construction site on Central Avenue, near Rutland.
You happen to know if she's meeting a Mr. Hawley there?
Well, yes. And Mr. Stoddard, too. I called Mr. Stoddard for her and gave him the message to meet Mr. Hawley there. And then she decided to join them.
Thanks, Sally. Oh, call the police and have them ask Lieutenant Weston to meet me at the site.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Janice?
That's right. Where's Holly?
I don't know. He left word with Sally. He wanted to see me out here.
He had to, he told me. He wanted to know what he was supposed to say about Inspector Erickson.
What?
He figured I was in on the know. One of the regular mob, or whatever it is.
Listen, Jan, Hawley's a nut. I've had trouble with him before.
You ought to give him instructions about things like that. Herb Maris came around to see him, and he didn't know what to say.
Jan, I'm telling you. He's a real psychological study, that guy.
Yes. He's a real psychological study, all right.
Now, look, honey, I want to...
When I put up that money for you, it was just to finance a construction job. Not a partnership in murder.
Jan, Hawley isn't going to say anything, see? Nobody's going to be able to prove that I did anything.
He'll find out you bribed Erickson.
Well, I had to. He knew the construction didn't meet specifications. Well, not to the letter anyway. Only I had to run into a blue nose like Randall. He as good as said the construction would have to be done all over again. Would have cost the entire investment. As it was, it took plenty to get Erickson to okay it.
And because Randall wouldn't. Naturally, he had to die. And when Erickson was through protecting you, naturally, he had to die. And naturally, having told Prescott had to die. Naturally.
Oh, you're just guessing at these things. Jan, you gotta believe me now. Listen.
Believe you? You killed 3 men.
Well, they knew. What else could I do?
And now, I know.
Yeah. Why'd you have to listen to Hawley?
Should have had more faith in you, George.
Yeah.
I know.
Now, what are we going to do, huh?
You'll have to kill me now, won't you? Isn't that what you're thinking?
I couldn't do that.
I'll talk, George. I'll tell them what you did. Must be easy for you to kill by now.
Stop it, Jan.
Isn't that what a killer has to do? Kill and keep on killing?
What are you trying to prove, huh? That I love you too much to do it? Is it a test? Are you really that sure I won't kill you?
No, George. I'm not at all sure.
Hold it, stop it. If you kill her, you can't stop there. You'll have to kill me, too. And when Lieutenant Weston shows up, you'll have to kill him. And after that, there'll be others.
It's all over.
Suppose we go outside and wait for the police.
Now, look. I don't want to hurt anybody, see? But I'll protect myself. That's self-defense. I've got that right. Get over there. Go on!
Give it up, started. You haven't got a chance. Throw down your gun or I'll shoot.
You all right?
Yeah, I feel great.
I know, Lieutenant. But think how Jim Keller's going to feel.